Hey everyone, it's Colin from Brilliant Labs, and welcome to today's Maker Fun session. Today we're going to be using all these materials on the table in order to build maracas. Make sure to only use the glue gun when you're accompanied by an adult, otherwise something like a glue stick will work just fine. As for myself, I'm going to be using the glue gun for this tutorial. So we're also going to use some markers in order to decorate our maraca when we're done. We're going to use this popsicle stick in order to hold up the maraca and shake it. This is of course going to be the body of the maraca. The rice is what's going to make the noise. We have these scissors and paper, which I'll get into later, but then we also have this dice. And the reason why is because there's going to be a little bit of a twist on this Maker Fun session, so we're going to be involving coding. Now don't worry, you don't actually need a computer in order to do any of the coding we're going to do, but I'll get to that later. Also, we're going to need a pencil. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take our toilet paper holder, and we're going to put it around this piece of paper, and we're just going to trace it with this pencil. It does not have to be a perfect circle, so don't worry about that. Mine definitely won't be. Okay, so now we've got a circle about the size of our toilet paper holder. I'm just going to cut this real quick to make it simple. Okay, now we want to cut around this, and make sure you don't actually get close to the pencil. You want to make sure that there's enough room around the outside, and I'll explain why as soon as we're done. Okay, so now we've got a cut. It's bigger than the actual size of this, and that's important because as you can see, if we just had it on there and it wasn't big enough, we would run into a problem with the rice falling out. But now where we have it extended a little bit, it should help keep the rice in. Our next step is we're going to cut little pieces all the way around, but make sure you don't actually touch the part with the pencil. We want it to be before that. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of little holes. That way we're going to be able to put them down onto our toilet paper roll. So we're going to grab the glue gun. Remember, only use a glue gun if you're accompanied by an adult. And we're going to put the glue all the way around the roll. And then we're going to put our piece on top of it. We'll let that dry for a second. The next thing we want to do is take our glue and put it around the bottom of this, and then push the pieces onto it. Okay, that should be good. So our next step is we're going to take this rice and we're going to pour it in. Now I'm going to make a huge mess, but that's okay. Make sure if you get rice everywhere like I just did to clean it up. That way your parents don't have to do it. Now we're going to take our popsicle stick and we're going to push it as far in as we can. Then we're going to cut out another circle. Awesome. So this time it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to take our pencil. We're going to poke a tiny hole in the center. And then we're just going to stretch it out so it's a little bit big. And the idea here is that we want to make it big enough so that we can slide it down onto here. But at the same time, if it's too big, you don't want a bunch of rice falling out. So try not to make it too big. But if it's a little too big, it's okay because we're going to cover it up with glue. I'm just going to lightly rip it and then pull it down. Great. So I'm going to use the glue gun and glue the top of this holder before I actually place it down. That way it's stable. And then we're going to hold it down. Just like last time, we're going to glue the outside of here and then put the pieces of paper down onto it. Okay, so now it's glued all the way around. But you're going to want to make sure you stuff a bunch of glue right into the part where this popsicle stick is, because we never want this to come out. Otherwise, you'll get rice everywhere. Even if you have a glue stick, this is the one part that I highly recommend using a glue gun for. Awesome, now we're going to let it dry. Now that everything's dry, we're going to make this look a little bit better, because we don't actually want to be able to see this part. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it on the edge of a piece of paper. And then we want to fold that piece of paper all the way until it looks like it's just about covered. And then we're going to mark our pencil on that section. So now I'm just going to cut right across. Then when we put it back on, we want to mark the other side. Okay, so this paper is roughly the size of this. Awesome. So we're going to take some glue and we're going to put it right on this piece of paper. Oh, it looks like I'm running out. Okay, let's get a bunch of glue on there. And then make sure as you go, you stick it on. You want to make it as less bumpy as possible. You want it to be as tight as possible. So then we're just going to fold this over. And right before it touches, we're going to glue that spot. Then press down. Okay, awesome. So now there's a little bit too much up here, but that's fine. We'll just squish it down. And now we have our maraca. It's not decorated yet, so now we're going to move on to the coating section. Okay, so now's a great chance to clean your desk off just like I have. Because now all we need are these markers, this maraca, and this new piece of paper. So let's take a look at how we're going to do this. I'm going to take a marker and I'm going to put a dot. Then I'm going to take our second marker and I'm going to make another dot. And you want to make sure there's room for 6 of these dots. And I actually don't have room for the 6th marker, so we're going to leave that one out. So we're going to start with blue. So the first step is we want to move down. So we're going to move down just a little bit. Awesome. Now we're going to need our dice. So we have this if statement, if dice roll is greater than 3. So let's give it a roll. So our dice roll is 4. So our dice roll is greater than 3. So our next step is we're going to move right. Awesome. Then we go to repeat until bottom. Well, it's not at the bottom yet, so we're going to keep going. That's the third time in a row I got a 4. Something seems to be a little bit rigged here. Oh, there's our first number less than 3. So remember, if dice roll is greater than 3, then we move right. But because it's not, we want to move left. But we have to make sure we go down first, because it says right here. So we're going to go down, and then we're going to go back to the left. Okay, so we just rolled a 3. So you might be thinking that we're going to want to move right, but it's actually kind of cool because the way this is worded, it says if dice roll is greater than 3, move right. But 3 is not greater than 3, so we're still going to want to move left in this case. Okay, we've made it to the bottom. So now I have a great idea. We did one where we move down and then we move in a random direction depending on our dice roll. But we still have a bunch of other dots with a bunch of other markings. So rather than going down and then moving either right or left, I want you guys to create your own algorithms, and I want you to create your own if statements for your own unique markings. Remember, it doesn't have to be just lines. You can put in circles, you can put in triangles. Just make sure you're using something like an if statement like I have here, so that you can continue implementing coding into these maracas. Thanks for coming to my Maker Fun session. Stay brilliant!